Nancy Mace calls out Adam Schiff once again, says he absolutely lied. We're going to go into his mixing stories on whether if the president can be pardoned or not, how he switches it between Trump and Biden. Welcome to John Mike Keene. Watch how his story has changed over the years.
On the day Donald Trump leaves office, the Justice Department may indict him.
Very strongly in favor of indicting the president when he is out of office.
I don't think the incoming president should be threatening his political opponents with jail time. That's not the kind of talk we should hear from a president in a democracy.
So he's changed that story on whether if the president can prosecute a previous president. He's going to change it yet a third time in our final clip. He comes up with a whole different answer. Here's Nancy Mace going back in time to when he did the Russia and got censored.
When you look back at that, he was so definitive, so absolute in his condemnation of the former president on this, and then the whole thing fell apart.
Right, so bold, so absolute in his lies about the Russia collusion hoax, and Republicans were deemed and called conspiracy theorists. That's still a trend that's happening today, when all we've tried to do is tell the truth. And finally, some accountability happened last night, and then the rest of his punishment may be referred to the ethics committee. We'll see what happens, but you cannot just completely make up a lie. In fact, the Russian collusion, the whole thing, the hoax was paid for by the Clinton campaign, and the left just wants to turn their back on this. And we want to make sure that the American people know the truth, know the facts of what have actually happened. And a guy who leaked information and made stuff up based out of thin air, that was Adam Schiff.
Adam Schiff made everything up out of thin air, and he ended up getting a pardon. But he has found this new workaround to still get Trump, basically by postponing. He's angry at Jack Smith that he didn't postpone the whole thing instead of canceling it.
Does that mean you think there was an alternative to what Jack Smith did today?
Yes, I think there was an alternative. The alternative would have been to postpone further proceedings in the case until after he left office. Now, what Jack Smith did is seek to dismiss the case without prejudice. That means they can bring charges against Trump again once he leaves office.
And that's what he's hoping for. Remember in the first quote, he didn't think we should be going after presidents after they leave office. And now he wants them just to delay it.
But it is nevertheless a very serious distinction, because the status quo now is no charges against the president. Mm-hmm. You would have to upset that status quo to later bring charges again, as opposed to merely postponing the proceedings, in which case the presumption is they continue when he leaves office. Now, Jack Smith relied on the opinion of lawyers within the department who said that they thought it was required by the Constitution to dismiss the case, but it isn't required by the Constitution. There's nothing that would interfere with his performance of the office, whether the case is dismissed without prejudice or merely postponed. So I think this is a serious mistake by the department. It compounds the mistake that you alluded to, which is they waited a year before they even brought this case forward or began the investigation. And then you have the Supreme Court with its immunity decision, and now you have a potential nominee in Pam Bondi who is saying she's going to prosecute the prosecutors. All of that goes against what Jack Smith said in his brief motion, which is that no one's above the law. So we're hearing that phrase a lot, but we're not giving validity to it by these actions.
And who would know better than Adam Schiff, who has grifted above the law for his entire career? I'm John Mike Keene.